Hey, what's up, everybody? C-Man here. Some days things just don't go your way, and usually it's the most important days, like WandaVision Fridays. Been just struggling trying to get anything to work on my computer since about 4 o'clock this morning, and when my external hard drive accidentally disconnected about 5 minutes ago, and all of a sudden everything started working. Figured out why nothing was working, because there's something wrong with the external hard drive. The downside to that is all of the elements that I use for my videos is on that hard drive, as well as like all sorts of stuff related to my videos. So that's a headache for later. But for now, we have a non-spoiler review to get to, and eventually a spoiler review to get to. You'll be missing some elements and some things you're used to seeing. Hopefully I can salvage this hard drive and get things back on track. But for WandaVision coverage, it is time for the past C-Man, who seemed so long ago when things were good and working and not like they are now. But we send it to the past C-Man to tell you all his non-spoiler thoughts about WandaVision Episode 8. Take it away, past C-Man! Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. So it's Friday morning. It is not bright, but it is bright and early, as we've been saying. 3 o'clock on the East Coast when the episodes drop, so that makes it about 4 o'clock now. This is one of my favorite days of the week. I love looking forward to talking about this show and talking about this show with you. And after the past couple weeks, I look forward even more so to the non-spoiler review, because a good amount of you have come out to tell me, like, it's an important piece of your day. Like, it's one of those things that allows you to get hyped about the episode without finding out anything about the episode. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be really difficult this week, because I'm not sure I entirely know how to talk about this episode without spoiling something. But we'll give it a go. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We are getting ready to dive in spoiler-free, I hope, into WandaVision, Episode 8. And for the second week in the row for me, the title of the episode was online when I clicked on it. But the title of the episode might be a spoiler in and of itself, and the way the episode is designed is kind of a spoiler. So, if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, I mean, we are coming down the home stretch here. This is the second to last episode. Next week we wrap everything up. If you don't want any spoilers, cover your ears and keep them covered until I clap and then wave you back. We've done this in the past. But I do want to just mention briefly, like, the genius to what the episode is. And if you're okay with knowing that, then by all means stick around. But if you're not and you don't want any spoilers, we're probably going to have to skip a couple minutes. So give me a 3, a 2, a 1, potentially mild spoiler. The episode title this week is Previously On, which means we're going backwards, right? There is a lot of mystery ahead of us, for sure. And there are a lot of theories out there clinging for life as we get ready to head to the finale. However, to get there, we really need to go back and fill in some big gaps, and bigger gaps than even I could have thought of. You know, my big thing is I wanted to go back and see how Wanda created all of this. We get that, but we also get a much richer backstory, so to speak, this episode, and it fills in a lot more blanks than I even thought we needed to have filled in, and some of those blanks were an absolute delight to watch. And the way in which they're just telling this story, what this story is bringing, and how they opt to go backwards was so cool, because they could have just easily opened the episode up right before Wanda, gets to Westview and changes everything and showed us what happened. But much like that event, you need a legit build-up to that moment. And the episode finds a really, really cool way in which to do that, that not only goes backwards and fills in the gap, but simultaneously is pushing this story forwards and is keeping it in the present, even though we're going to the past. I loved how they opted to reveal all this stuff, and what they opted to reveal was really, really cool. Okay, for all you people with you here, golf clap, you can come on back. We won't say anything else about what the title of the episode is or what that meant to the episode, other than that I really dug how this episode pushes everything forward and gets us set up for what is going to be an absolutely insane finale. The things Kevin Feige is playing with here, man, I was pleasantly surprised, validated in some forms. That's not a spoiler, but there are things that I have said and things that I have been thinking about out loud for a while now that we get some confirmations to. And that was super exciting for me, because I was like, aha, yes, nice. I'm not totally off the mark on what I'm thinking about. And it was really cool to see how they told this piece of the story. Now, as far as what else I can talk about without spoiling anything, well, I can continue to tell you that Kevin Feige's good friend Lizzie Olsen, as he said when he was talking about the future with Disney Plus in one of the most recent might have been, I don't know if it was the Investor Day or if it was a different meeting, I don't know, somewhere Feige was talking, and he continually always mentions her as Lizzie, which I think is just absolutely adorable. But Elizabeth Olsen is so freaking good and talented, and this episode really, I mean, the whole season has really put her on display as an actor. I mean, what she is doing and the range of emotions and the ability to fluctuate in and out of them. I mean, the way that she can go from like a heartbroken beat to a terrifying beat to a puzzling beat to like a loving mother beat, the way she can just jump around to all these different personas and different hats she has to wear in the show is just a delight to watch. And we get to see her in a range of things this episode that is similar to things that we've seen, but not quite in the way that we see it. Like the way she brings everything together this episode and portrays everything this episode. It's a big episode for Wanda. It's a big episode for us. And Liz Olsen just annihilates this thing in the best way possible. Like, she is not only quickly becoming one of the most important pieces to Phase 4 with this whole Hex and the idea of bringing in the multiverse, but she's also quickly proving that she is maybe the most valuable acting talent that Marvel has at its disposal right now. Like, she has been that good, and I would love to see Phase 4 built on her shoulders. Like, the spine of the first 3 phases of the cinematic universe was Tony Stark. And look, the movies in and of themselves have shown a lot of, reason for Spider-Man to be the guy to kind of pick that mantle up a bit. But the way Iron Man is the spine of the first 3 phases and all of the MCU, Wanda could very easily be the spine of Phase 4 and everything we're doing going forward. And they could go so many cool places with the character and with Liz Olsen that I am just so excited to see what she's going to do with the character and what they're going to do with the character. But hopefully it's one of those, like, they've realized the kind of talent they've had all this time, and they were waiting to, tell this story, and she is knocking it out of the park. The other person, of course, that's really, really excellent and has been all season, is Paul Bettany. And, in his latest QA that he did, I think for Variety or for one of the trades, he was talking about how there still is one big cameo left, and mild spoiler, that big cameo is definitely going to be in the finale. We didn't really get introduced to any major new players this episode, but coming. But outside of that, the other thing that he had talked about was the fact that he had gone to an audition or gone to a bunch of auditions, was so excited about a potential role, and goes in for a meeting, and producer just says, "You're done in Hollywood." And that day, sitting on the sidewalk outside of the building, he gets the call from Joss Whedon to come play Vision, which obviously, not a total shock that they would go with Paul Bettany, right? Because he was the voice of Jarvis. But that was kind of like a changing moment for him. And this show, too, has continually reminded me, and hopefully everybody, how talented Paul Bettany is, man. I mean, the dude is such a good actor. And it's so exciting to see the one constant through all of the MCU at this point, right? With Tony Stark gone, Jarvis into Vision has literally been the one constant through all the phases of Marvel, has been Paul Bettany. And it's been really cool to see him just take this role and remind you of some things that you love about him, but also show you the depth to what he can do as an actor. And we get a nice bit of that in this episode as well. And lastly, but not least, the other major player this episode, of course, is Catherine Hahn's Agatha Harkness. Spoilers if you didn't watch last week. I'm sorry. I stick to no spoilers from this week, but we all knew that she was Agatha, and getting to finally watch her play Agatha, gloves off, no facade, just get to be Agatha, it is wickedly enjoyable, man. She is so good. And much, like both Bettany and Olsen, there's a range of things that she has to be able to play. And we've seen it all season. She's had to stay hidden and be able to adapt and change on the fly to make sure that her identity remains secret. So getting to see her with none of that on, and getting to see what her intentions are, and why she's here, and just seeing her perform that was so much fun to watch. And I'm jacked that we got that reveal last week, because I want to just spend the rest of the time with Catherine Hahn playing Agatha Harkness, because you can tell how much she is enjoying finally getting to play Agatha. And it's one of those, we know in the world of Hollywood, they don't shoot everything chronologically. It's one of those, I wonder if Catherine Hahn's roles were shot chronologically, because much like what they've been doing with Wanda, there has been a legit build as far as what you're doing as an actor to get to this moment that you get to be this is what I really get to be. I've been waiting to play this. And it feels like that build up to that reveal, it feels like it was built up for the actor too as they were doing it. So it's one of those, did they shoot it chronologically? Did they do Agatha right at the beginning? Because if they shot it chronologically, it makes a lot of sense. And it really feels like Hahn built that momentum up as she got to this point. Yet at the same time, if the first thing they ever did was her as Agatha, she is so locked in and so enjoyable to watch. And that's all I can really say about the episode as far as a non-spoiler goes. You really get to enjoy these three, and particularly Wanda and Agatha and Hahn and Olsen, and getting to watch them perform without any facades going on is just super enjoyable, while also being inside an episode that is so critical, not just to this story, but to Wanda's story, to Vision's story, to the story that goes forward. And like I said, I think we are set up for some absolutely wild things come in the finale, and I'm pretty sure Marvel's got some surprises up their sleeves that we probably haven't completely figured out yet. Gosh, Kevin Feige's a genius. But that's it, man. That's all we've got to say about WandaVision Episode 8. I I knew it would be virtually impossible to talk about this episode without spoiling anything, yet I also knew that I would definitely talk for more than 10 minutes because that's just how I do. So I certainly hope you enjoyed this conversation, as unrevealing, hopefully, as it was. I hope I was able to maintain the spoilers of this episode and not give them away to you, because unlike last week where, I kind of said, like, it was a down week, it just didn't pop the way that, like, the last, 3-4 episodes before it had popped, simply because the big moments of the episode ended up being things that, a lot of us had thought about for a while. Rewatching that episode, it's really good, and there's some awesome stuff in there, as you saw in my 90-minute spoiler review. However, this week, as far as pop goes, I think the pop was back. I was just glued and right here the whole episode. So I really dug it. The question is, did you? If you have watched the episode and come in for the non-spoiler convo first, don't spoil anything for the folks that haven't watched it, but let me know what you were digging about this episode. Was the format something that you really enjoyed the way I did? Did you think it was a good way to handle what they needed to handle in this episode? What did you think about the performances? And what are you excited about going forward without spoiling anything? Like I said, I think what we are building to is going to be pretty cool, specifically for the 3 characters that we talked about today. So anything you're thinking, spoiler-free, down below in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old C-Man anytime we're talking WandaVision, movies, television, trailer reactions. You want to be here next week for the finale, where we sit down and we talk about everything. And you haven't yet, and you want to show a little love and support to the old C-Man and the Cinema Sit Down, well, then jump over there, man. You can come join our C-Maniac Nation by hitting that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Hey, what's up, everybody? C-Man here, letting you know if you're looking for some more C-Man content, well, you can find some right here and here. And if you haven't, you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can do that over there. Till next time, see ya!